What's up, fam? Today we have a fun episode. I actually gave this presentation at Heather Blankenship. She is a really amazing, incredible boss-ass real estate investor who owns over $30 million worth of real estate all by herself. Freaking incredible. But I actually gave this presentation at one of her big 100-person retreats, all about interior design. So if you don't know, I actually have, and I call it my interior design side business, where I'm very picky about the people that I work with, but I do help other real estate investors mainly design their real estate investment properties to skyrocket the income that they're able to get on their properties. Because what people don't realize is that interior design is one of the most important parts of real estate investing. And that is for long-term rental, it's for short-term rentals, it's for mid-term rentals. And knowing how to design will literally put you light years ahead of other people. And that's also just a key way to differentiate yourself in the competition. So listen to this episode. It's going to be a good one. Let me know what you think.
Getting into short-term rentals or RV parks or, anything that requires a little bit more design, but is a little afraid of it because of this whole Airbnb bust and the amount of time and energy, right, that it takes. Well, I'm here to tell you that the Airbnb bust was definitely a bit of a myth, right? There was a lot of social media propaganda around this, talking about how, oh my gosh, Airbnbs are dead, like no one's booking Airbnbs anymore, anything like that. But y'all, literally Airbnb continues to grow every single year. And there are people making a lot of money on there, okay? And I'm here to show you how they're making a lot of money, how they're still staying competitive. Because the thing about short-term rentals, even RV parks and glamping resorts, things like that, is that there are more properties out there, meaning that there's more supply, right? It's all just economics. There's more supply, meaning we have to get more competitive. We have to actually make our properties nicer, and we have to talk to specific people. So that is what's happening. If you're just putting anything up there, that's not gonna rent anymore. The other thing is higher interest rates, right? So the margins are a little bit thinner. So in order to compete, we have to really be thinking strategically about what we're putting into our properties. And seasonality is also back, which is a good thing, okay? That means that the economy is actually slowly starting to stabilize again. So I just want to tell you a little bit about me in case you don't know me. I like to just start so you kind of see where the journey has gone here. But so I used to be a chemical engineer in the oil and gas industry, literally got my bachelor's in chemical engineering and master's in engineering and technology management. I know I really look like it, right? I was like going out to the oil and gas platforms. I'd literally keep dresses like under my fire resistant clothing so that when I got into the car driving back from the heliport, I just like whip out my yellow dress and start driving home and blast the music. Right? And it's so funny because all throughout that time, I always knew deep down inside that there was something else that I was supposed to do, right? There was something else. I even have this sticky note from June 2017. This was me during one of my internships, and I wrote things I could do as well as be an engineer. I hadn't quite accepted yet that I wasn't supposed to be an engineer, so I wrote as well as an engineer. And one of the things on there is like interior decorator, right? Because I always had this other desire, something bigger and different that I wanted to do with my life. So this was back in 2020. I found myself in $25,000 worth of credit card debt. I just graduated grad school and started working full time and realized, I don't really understand this whole financial literacy thing. Clearly, I don't really know what I'm doing. So that's when I actually got my real estate license, thinking this could be some sort of other career that could get me out of real estate, right? And at the time, people said, people make money in real estate. I'm like, got it, I'm going into that, right? That's when I really started to figure out real estate investing, started, as a lot of us do, right, listening to Bigger Pockets, thinking about house hacking, and then especially when they said short-term rentals and house hacking, I was like, wait a minute, that sounds like something right down my alley. So I got to work, literally 8 months later, paid off all my credit card debt, was under contract on my first property right after that, and it was off to the races. So literally while I was working my corporate job, by day, by night, and lunchtimes, and whatever other time I could, I was selling houses. I would bring my friends with me. We started our own businesses together, quit my corporate job, and just went full in, started an interior design business, bought a bunch of other properties, started a coaching business, a YouTube channel, all the things, right? But something that I just want to say is that, like, everything that you want is on the other side of you actually taking action, right? And I got so clear on the life that I wanted to live for the time freedom, financial freedom. Like, y'all, I literally I was nomading for the last 2 years. I took my dog to Portugal for 3 months. Like, what? Right? And the thing is like, you need to get so clear on your goals, and you have to call your shot. Like, you have to write down and what do you actually want here within the next year, 2 years, 3 years, 5 years, 20 years, right? Get so clear on that vision and work relentlessly to get there, and you will. You 100% will. Okay, I know none of that has to do with interior design, so now we're pivoting on right on back. So, have you ever been scrolling on Airbnb, or maybe it's through hotels, and kind of seen, properties that look a little bit like this? They're fine, right? They're bland, they're a little bland. I know for me, I just got back from a trip from Argentina, and in certain locations there in Patagonia, the properties just aren't super, pretty and nice. And I remember scrolling through, trying to find that one property that was cute enough. And I finally got there, and I was like, yes, this is the property that we're booking. You want to be that property. You want to be the property that they're scrolling, and that is the one that, it doesn't matter how much it is at this point, I'm going to book it, right? Basically, you cannot just throw up any old property on Airbnb. And this is not just on Airbnb. This is for your RV park, like glamping. Heather has built a beautiful glamping resort, and part of that was the design that went into it. So much nicer than all the other resorts in the area, right? Because we are visual and emotional human beings. That's how we make our decisions. Part of coming here, right, was because of our emotions. We wanted to be around other people doing the things that we wanted to do. So when you're thinking about properties that you're also listing, you have to appeal to people's emotions, right? Your Airbnb listing is basically like your dating profile, okay? But for your property. So I know there's a couple of single ladies out here, right? But you really want to put your best foot forward, right? And this is the same for your properties. You want to stop the scroll. Okay, so, and I don't know if you guys can see that too much, but so for all of my properties, we actually do an intake form where we ask them why they booked our properties, right? And literally for all of these, if you can see them, it's just design, hot tub, right? Oh, this place was so colorful, it was so cute. This is why they're booking, right? You want them to book it because of that. Because when they're looking, they're gonna stop on yours and book it because it's pretty and cute and colorful and it has the amenities that you want.
Hey girl, real quick, if you have been dreaming of living life on your own terms, then listen up, okay? I created a free course that shows you exactly how to buy a rental property using your $75K plus corporate salary and at least $10,000 in savings. That's with no trust fund, no rich boyfriend, no daddy's money, no hundreds of thousands of dollars sitting in the bank, just strategy, confidence, and a step-by-step plan. Now, in this free course, I'm going to be teaching you the number one strategy that is working for newbies in today's market. I'm also going to teach you how to spot a good deal and how to replace your corporate income with passive real estate income, escape the corporate hamster wheel, and not be dependent on your corporate job to survive. Now, this is for three kinds of people. This is for you if you are stuck in a job that you do not love, secretly dreaming of more freedom, more travel, and more peace in your bank account. Or maybe you're currently a digital nomad looking for more grounding and wealth building without losing the ability to travel. Or maybe you're a business owner or corporate girly who just sees the volatility in the market and you just want to diversify your income. If any of those sound like you, then go ahead, go get the free course now. The link is in the show notes, or just go to oliviatati.com/free course. That's oliviatati.com/free course. Trust me, this could change your life.
So interior design really can make or break your business. You can literally increase your ADR, which is your average daily rate, so how much you're actually charging money, the amount of money that you're charging for a property, by 20 to 30%, sometimes even a lot more than that, depending on the market that you're in. Okay, and then also, for anyone who struggles to stay booked throughout the low season, I know for me, I have a couple properties in Virginia. The winter is a slow season. And if your property is not cute and it doesn't have the right amenities, you're not getting booked for those months, right? So you have to put these in. Also, people want Instagrammable stays. Yo, if you follow me on Instagram, I post all of my stays. I am like, oh my gosh, this place is so cute. I need to tell everyone about it. I'm sending them links. That is the kind of emotion you want to evoke behind your properties as well. It's literally free marketing, okay? And then you wanna also attract your ideal guest. A lot of the time with who hates dealing with tenants and guests? Probably most people. Like, it's sometimes the most frustrating part of it. So you want to attract the right people into your properties. Okay, so this is a case study. This is one of our properties in Virginia. And like, y'all, this property was ridiculously affordable, like $200,000. And so on the left, you have a similar property that's actually, you would think, is more desirable because it's a log cabin, right? Like, and people want to stay in log cabins versus just regular homes. However, our property literally does double what the other does simply because of design and having the right amenities. And like, the mortgage on this is like $1,200. So it's making $50,000, or over $50,000, which is about $5,000 a month on a $1,200 mortgage with a few expenses on top of that, right? So those are things that you want to take into consideration, right? You don't want just like grandma's old cabin. You want it to be bright. You want it to be colorful. You want it to be, and it doesn't even have to be colorful. Colorful is not the right word, but you want it to attract the right clientele. Same thing with this. This was a property that we purchased. It was already an Airbnb. It was a short-term rental, very much underperforming, and we're like, oh, we got this. We can really pull this in, right? So we brightened it up. We appealed to a certain demographic, which in that area, it's right outside of DC, right? There's a lot of people coming from the city, especially girls groups. So we really appealed to that clientele. Once again, doubled the revenue just because, and the funny thing is this place even had the right amenities, but done wrong, right? The revenue doubled. And here's just showing like the difference between the occupancy, right? In those winter months, during the down season, you want to be able to ride that out, and you can do that by putting the right things in your property. And then when you start to get to some of the bigger numbers, so Denver is a big metropolitan area. They have a great, right now, lots of people are wanting to go there for bachelor groups, bachelorette groups, big family activities. So I actually have two cases. The one on the bottom right is actually Keisha's property in Denver. And I used it because I recently just purchased a place in Denver and I was doing my market research, right? But you see on the top left, it's cute. Don't get me wrong, it's a nice house. It's actually like a new construction, looks nice. Very boring, very bland, doesn't have any character. Versus the one on the bottom right, they're speaking to a direct clientele. It's bright, it's colorful, they know who they're marketing to. So people, when they see that property, they're like, I don't care how much it is, I need that one, okay? So we're gonna go over my 3-step framework on how to maximize your ROI with interior design. Okay, I call this the CAA method, and it's very simple, you can write it down. But first one, competition, okay? That is gonna be the first thing that's gonna determine what you're actually going to put into your property, right? So where are we located? Where is this property located? Who's coming here? Can I actually even compete in this market, right? So if you're going into somewhere like Pigeon Forge in Tennessee where they have so many short-term rentals, right? You can't buy a little old cabin that doesn't have any amenities and design because you're gonna get crushed, okay? Versus if you go somewhere like Ruidoso, New Mexico, or somewhere in like middle of nowhere, Virginia, where most of the places on there are tiny cabins. Like that's why I went into that market originally. I was like, I can compete in here with very little money, you know? So you want to take that into consideration when you're thinking about where you actually want to get your property. Okay, what holes can you fill in the market? Is there an underserved market? Are places really catered towards bachelor and bachelorettes and they're not catered towards families, even though people with families are really trying to come here? Like, is that a market that I can serve? Is there a golf market that no one has really tapped into that now I could be that person that's providing the golf house, right? These are the things that you really want to think about. And there are so many different tools like AirDNA, Price Labs. Like, this isn't just, oh, I'm gonna look on Airbnb and see what's out there. That's part of it, but you can actually dig into the data behind all of this, which is really cool. Okay, step 2, avatar, right? Who am I actually marketing this place to? Who do I want to stay here? Because whenever you're thinking about how you want to design it, whenever you're thinking about your pictures, whenever you're writing your Airbnb descriptions or hotel descriptions or whatever that looks like, you want to be talking to one specific person. Because this is where people get really tripped up. They're like, I want to appeal to everyone, right? When you try to appeal to everyone, when you try to market to everyone, you market to no one. There's a reason that there's no men other than the people that work for Heather in this group, right? Because she was specifically marketing towards women, right? Women entrepreneurs. So you want to think about exactly who am I marketing this property to? Okay, things you can think about. Age, gender, height, occupation, education. What are their hobbies? What do they like to do? Are they married? Do they have kids, right? What are some personality traits that they have? What are some activities they enjoy doing? We're gonna really like leverage those. So let's take this random couple. This is Jane and John, right? So Jane and John, they are 25 to 26, recently married, they're honeymooning, maybe they are making 6 figures and they're trying to get out of the city, get away from their job. What are some things, I want someone to answer, what's something you would put in your short-term rental or in your hotel or whatever that looks like that would appeal specifically to them? Anyone? Hot tub, totally. Anything, what's a picture that you might put maybe on your listing? Yeah, the bedroom, a little sultry. Maybe some wine glasses, right? Like really creating the mood and the vibe. Are the things that you put in this property gonna be the same that you're gonna put in for the Smith family, who they're taking their yearly family vacation, right? And they've got a bunch of different kids, and maybe their parents are a little stressed out, so they want a room on the other side of the house, right? Because they're like kids on that side, adults on this side. Are you gonna be putting the same thing in these properties? No, right? Like you have to know who you're marketing towards, and that is how you're gonna gear every single part of your design process, of your script, everything. Okay, so here's a few different avatars that I just want you to think about, right? We've got families, we've got bachelorette parties, college students, traveling professionals, sports enthusiasts, honeymooners, hikers, solo travelers with pets. I throw that in there because I'm a solo traveler with my pet. But your guest avatar really is gonna assist you in exactly how you're gonna market this property, and just create like a stellar guest experience. You want when people to come out of this property to be like, you need to stay here and you need to stay there. I'm gonna send this to everyone. Okay, so last part of the CAA method is amenities. And I say this because y'all, for most people, the first thing I look at before even going into design and stuff is, can you compete? And that is specifically with your amenities. If everyone in your market has a hot tub and you don't have a hot tub, you're already out of the running, right? So, and I remember I'm in, if you're not a part of Heather's retreat, or not retreat, but of her mastermind, you should definitely join, but because we have these tribes and we communicate, and someone had posted in there one of their properties, and the first thing that I went to go look at to give some advice was, you're in a mountain market, you're next to all of the ski trails and all of this stuff, you don't have a hot tub, and you're not marketing the area. Like, do that first before even like putting in cute furniture. And the place was cute, but before doing all of that, you need to make sure you're even on the level playing field with everyone else, okay? And Airbnb has really become an amenity game. People literally, and I remember Stacy, you were saying this, is your husband, whenever you're looking at short-term rentals, if it doesn't have a hot tub, you're not going, right? So those are the things you really want to look at. Okay, now there are different amenities actually on Airbnb that they list out that you can maximize. So there are certain ones, I put a few here like pool, hot tub, sauna, pickleball court. I'd rather you have a pool and a hot tub though before a sauna and a pickleball court, simply because on Airbnb, when you're going in and listing out your amenities, that's not one of the options yet. It will, I'm sure it will be in the future, but right now we're also playing an algorithm game, right? We want Airbnb, we want the algorithms to push us up based off of what they're providing us. So these are something, and like office spaces are really, and it doesn't mean you need a whole office, but like having a desk space so people can work remotely, stuff like that. Those are things that you're really thinking about. And then one of my favorites, unique structures. Now these, I think, are gonna be on the rise for a very, very long time, because if you guys are like me, when I see a random unique structure like a dome or an A-frame, I'm like, I want to stay there. Like, I literally stayed in an Airstream once. I don't even like Airstreams. Like, they literally feel like you're in a little boat, but it was a cool experience. So I was like, I have to book there, right? So those are really, if you can find something that has something unique about it, definitely tap into that. Recently just designed this double A-frame for one of my clients, and this was actually in the Smoky Mountains, but the reason he did a double A-frame is because they got a ton of A-frames, but they don't have double A-frames, right? So those are the things you really want to think about. Just some cute interior design stuff here. But invest in the things that will actually move the needle, right? Don't get the $120 tea towels from Pottery Barn, because those are gonna get used over and over again. That's a waste of your money, right? Like, we wanna focus on the needle movers first, which is why I say amenities first and design, like, by far. And there are different things you can do to make it more affordable too. Okay, it's not just about design, it's also about functionality, right? So don't skimp out on your high use items like your couch, your bed. Those are things that people are using over and over and over again. And trust me when I say you do not want to have to go in and replace a bed or replace a couch. It is the biggest pain in the butt. I've had to do that before. Invest from the get-go on a really good quality item for those high-use items. When it's something not high-use, like a TV console or a bedside table to an extent, you probably don't need to put as much money into those, because those are not things that are getting sat on all the time and used all the time. Accurate floor plans, also important, because the worst thing about interior design and buying stuff is getting something and it doesn't fit and you're like, damn it, and you have to go in and return it. Who hates returning packages here? Yeah, and especially when it's a big furniture item, worst. And also be realistic about occupancy and ADR. This is where we go back to the competition part of it all, right? Can you actually compete in this market? Like, sometimes you get these big lofty goals and ideas, but like, if you don't actually have the money to compete in there, you have to be realistic, because that is also gonna help you gear what market segment that you're gonna invest in. Okay, so common mistakes that I see. Boob lights. I hate boob lights. Y'all, like, literally, they are the worst. I will rip out all the build. It just says builder grade from the get-go, okay? Other things, having no theme, or just really not like playing into the area, right? Like, I'm not gonna put tropical beach theme Florida in Denver, Colorado. You know what I mean? So really, like, kind of have that foresight as well. Outlets are a big thing. You know, when you go into a place and it's kind of like that yellow mustardy outlet cover, and then you're like, this kind of looks a little bit gross. Those are such small, simple things that you can change out that lift up this place and make it feel so much nicer and better. That doesn't cost a ton of money, right? What else do I have on here? Trying to squeeze in too many people, right? We want to fit as many people as we can into our rentals because we want to maximize our revenue potential. It feels uncomfortable. The people who are staying there are going to feel uncomfortable, and you're going to start to attract a different kind of clientele that's trying to shove as many people into a property versus the ones that you actually want, okay? No professional photos as well. Y'all, professional photos is one of the best investments you can potentially have for your properties, because Airbnb actually even does a pixel count based off of your photos, and it will push the ones that have more quality photos higher up in the algorithm than the ones that don't. So, like, literally, you can, depending on your area, sometimes it's like $200. If it's a big property, it could be up to $1,000, but that $1,000 is gonna make you a lot more thousands down the road. Having no greenery, outdated furniture, ugly blinds. I hate ugly blinds. And improper rug use. And like the biggest one of all is that a lot of properties are just boring, right? It's not stopping the scroll. When in doubt, paint is the solution. I love paint so much. You can truly transform a space with just paint. And I'm gonna show you a couple of examples here. But literally, like, it's such an easy way. And I know, like, let's not try and do the landlord special where we're painting over outlet covers and stuff like that, right? But if done well, you can completely change a space.
If you've been following me for a while, you know that I absolutely love fashion. Like, I am always in bright, colorful clothes. I'm just a bright and colorful human. Even right now, I'm wearing a fabulous green dress, if you can see me on YouTube. But I also just go to a ton of different conferences and retreats and events, and I'm always wearing something different. And everyone always asks me, Olivia, where do you get your clothes from? Now, this isn't some Instagram influencer thing where it's like, oh yeah, everyone asks me. No, actually, everyone does ask me where I get all of my clothes from. And the funny thing is, I actually got rid of half of my closet years ago whenever I started nomading, because I just hate clutter and don't want a ton of stuff. And I'm just not like a stuff girl. And 80% of the time, I'm actually wearing rented clothes from Nuuly. Yes, this fabulous green dress that I'm wearing right now is from Nuuly. I know, I don't actually buy clothes, like, ever, really. I mainly rent. And that's because, number one, I get bored of clothes easily, and I like to change my clothes all the time. That's why I am legitimately always in a new dress. Number 2 is I hate clutter. Like I just hate having a crazy full closet where I can't find anything and it's just such a mess. And then number 3, I am always traveling and sometimes it's hard to pack a bunch of different stuff and clothes, and I like to travel light. I also take a lot of pictures of myself, so I like to be in different outfits. And sometimes I even get the rental sent to wherever I'm traveling to. That way I don't even have to pack it with me. And this way I just get to wear way nicer clothing than I usually buy. Like literally over the last 3 years, I have rented over $150,000 worth of clothes, but I've spent less than a tenth of that actually on clothing. And that's why I absolutely love Nuuly, because they have so many different things, so many fun items. I love that they have really fabulous brands like Farm Rio and sometimes even McDougall, which is a luxury brand. I've rented $1,000 dresses from them for the same price as my membership. And it's great because they have super classic items, but they also have fun staples in there too. Because you can rent everything from dresses to coats to everyday outfits like jeans. Now, you're actually in luck right now because I have a special link where you can actually try a Nuuly subscription and get $30 off of your first month subscription. So use the link in the show notes below to try Nuuly out, or go in and type oliviatati.com/Nuuly. That's Nuuly. And I have a discount code in there. Go ahead, try it out. Let me know how you like it. It has been a total game changer for me to level up my wardrobe. So go check out Nuuly. Remember, oliviatati.com/Nuuly, or go use the link in my show notes.
But you also can't go wrong if you just start with a white base layer. And I know I'm the girl who's the colorful girl and I like bright colors, all of this stuff. But I just moved into a new place, painted the whole thing my favorite white, which is the second one on there, Valspar Swiss Coffee. And you can get the color code and get it in whatever brand that you want. But if you get that white color, it's just a good, clean, a little creamy, crisp white that works with absolutely everything to start as your base layer, especially for anyone out there who's scared of using colors, right? And then you can add accents in there to really transform the space. And I have 3 different whites on there. The last one, do not confuse it with Dover white, because Dover white is a very different white, just an FYI. Okay, now where do I even purchase all of these furnitures, right? Like, where do I get everything from? So I put in a few like affordable, mid-tier, high-end options. Affordable, Amazon, Wayfair, All Modern. These are great, affordable. You can get anything from there. Literally, I wouldn't recommend getting stuff like your couch and your bed from there, because they're gonna break and then you're gonna be annoyed at yourself, even though it's like, oh my gosh, this is so cheap, but is it cheap in the long run? Probably, or is it cheap in the long run? Probably not. Your mid-tier, Article, Joybird, Anthropology, Crate and Barrel, and then your high-end, we're going more Pottery Barn, West Elm, Restoration Hardware. Those for sometimes you want to add in, like I just got a really beautiful couch that's just the statement piece, right? And I'm thinking about what picture is going to be on the top, like the first picture on my listing, right? And it's going to be that couch and everything. So I'm willing to invest a little bit on there because I know it's going to make a statement. Where to purchase? Now this is huge, y'all. This is how investors are saving a ton of money. They're not just buying everything off of the websites, right? They're using things like HostGPO, in-house Minoan to get huge discounts on all of their items. And then the cool thing too is you can even set, because you're a hospitality brand now and you do real estate, you can even set up a professional account with things like Wayfair, or I just set up one with Joybird because I got a couch from there. Your couch that used to be $4,500 is now $2,100, right? We love saving money. So definitely use these tools. Minoan's a really cool one that I use all the time because they even help track everything for you. They will help you with returns, all of that stuff too. And so I actually have an interior design business. It's called Yellow Door Designs. Most of the stuff we do is very bright, very colorful, very eye-catching. We do neutral stuff as well, but that is definitely our bread and butter. So I do want to tell you just a little bit about that. So we do mood boards, layouts, design spreadsheets, mock-ups, basically do everything so that you can put you can essentially get everything done for your property, and we work with a local installer in your area to actually get everything set up and in there. So like I said, we do fun mood boards so we can figure out the vibe of the property. Then we go over floor plans and really figuring out how everything fits in the property. And then even design mock-ups. So I know some of y'all are in the membership or in the society right now. I taught you guys how to actually design stuff on Canva for anyone who wants to do it themselves. That's what we use to design everything. It's super fun, super easy to use. And then we provide spreadsheets with links for everything so that you can have that as well. But yeah, so just some fun before and afters, and this is where I say paint, y'all, makes such a big difference. Just brightens everything up, even when you have old school paneling and stuff like that. But I actually have some freebies for you, so you can actually download my property startup template over there. If you do a little screenshot, I'll leave it on there for a bit. And then I also have a YouTube video on how to design stuff on Canva. So this is like, if you guys want to go and do this on yourself, you absolutely can. I'm so happy to provide resources for y'all. So go ahead and do that. And in the property startup template, we have a lot of the furniture items and things that we like to use at all of our properties. So you can go ahead and grab those. Wait till everyone's done taking pictures. I think we're good. And that's about it. I'd love to help you. If you want to contact me, if you have any questions, follow me on the gram, whatever it is. But that's it for me about interior design. Do we have time for questions? Okay, any questions? Yes? So $15 a square foot is usually my baseline. Like that is, okay, I mean, it depends, right? So if you're in the phase, I remember when I first got started on my very first investment property, I took all of my furniture from my house and shoved it into the next house, right? And I added things from there, so that's gonna be a lot less than $15 a square foot. But if you're starting baseline, like I want, and this is not high-end luxury. This is gonna be like, you know, we can make it cute with some high-end pieces, but a lot of like stuff from Amazon and Wayfair, $15 a square foot is a good starting point. Yeah. Yes? I do everything white because I want to be like, I want it to feel like a hotel, but cuter and cozier, right? And I know a lot of, and this is gonna be dependent on your cleaner. Some cleaners are like, no, I don't wanna, no, it just feels nicer. Think about when you come to your hotel here and you know everything is clean, it's spotless. It forces your cleaners to be better too. And like if something's raggedy, throw it out. We're not keeping this in anymore, right? Because at the end of the day, you're running a hospitality brand. I do duvet covers. It depends on your cleaner, once again. Some will be like, it has to be a quilt. I just really like for it to feel like a hotel. And you can triple sheet. That's a really, if your cleaner knows how to triple sheet, that's an easy way to kind of skirt around that, but yeah. Yeah. Yes?
How would you know above all the, designs that you do on the properties, how do you know that it's a dry property on that market?
Awesome, thank you. Yeah, so I mean, doing market research first, right? Looking and seeing what are the other properties in your market doing, and is there a need, right? Is there something coming in to that area that's like, oh, this is gonna be an underserved market, right? So you really have to take some time to look at your area. What are people coming here for, right? So the way that I design in New Orleans is gonna be very different than the way that I design in Denver, Colorado, or in the mountains or anything like that. So really think about your market. If you're in the mountains, usually you want to go for a unique property with a view, right? That is what I'm looking for. If the place doesn't have a view, I'm probably not even going to entertain the idea. So those are kind of the things that you really want to think about.
Are you using AirDNA?
AirDNA and Price Labs are my main. There's a bunch of different other ones, like B&B Calc is a good one, and tons of other tools out there.
Should we have them like dance for a second? Yes. Can we do like Shania?
Yes.
Can you do like Shania Twain?
Yeah, and so it's kind of similar question. It really depends on the market, right? So for example, so for example, in New Orleans, right? There's one of my properties there, I was specifically gearing towards people who were working at the university, right? So I'm gonna design it a little bit different. Like I'm gonna put more emphasis on like, here's your workspace and here's what's cozy and comfortable versus something that's near the French Quarter where I'm like, oh, these people are here to party, let's make it a party house, right? In a different sense.
So it's geographical.
Definitely geographical, yes.
Do you submit the pre-questionnaire to them?
Which pre-questionnaire?
When they book it?
Yes, when they book it, that is a part of my like intro, and I have like, so you can automate a lot of your emails. So personally I use Hospitable. So 90% of my communications are automated through there, and we include the intake form that we just created ours on Jotform. There are different ways to do it. Now we also take, and part of that is we want to collect emails so that we can get off the platforms like Airbnb and start marketing directly towards them and actually owning our business versus being dependent on the OTAs because we never know when the algorithms are going to change and what's going to happen with them.
So true.
How do you use that intake form in your business? Like, what do you do with the information?
Yeah, so we send out monthly emails, and depending on the season, we'll send out like, this is a Black Friday sale, you can book your place for, so we're like really nurturing them, and it's not even just for sales and stuff. We'll send out, these are top things to do in this area, like, have you seen, we've just launched a new property, you can get a stay, here's a free giveaway, things like that. So we're really nurturing them over the, like, and now we have repeat guests all the time at some of our properties, which is really awesome, but you really want to keep your property top of mind. Like, so, you know, like if you stay at a Marriott and you always kind of get emails from them about random things, we're doing that as well, but we do it in a more cute and cozy way, right? Because we want to have more of that personal experience versus being like this giant brand that feels so far removed. I think that's all the time I have, but thank you, y'all.
Okay, y'all, what did you think about that episode? I'm not gonna lie, I feel like I did a pretty good job. I went a little fast, right? But we're working on that. We're working on that. You guys know I have a ton of energy, but I hope you got of good information about how to design a property. And if you are needing help when it comes to designing your real estate property, or maybe we recently just started working with a bar to design their bar. We really love interior design and interior decorating. We would absolutely love to help. Feel free to go to my website and go click on Work With Me. So my website's oliviatati.com. Under Work With Me, it says interior design. Go ahead and submit your property and your ideas to the team. We will get back to you. We'd love to help you out. I hope you like this episode, and don't forget to share this with anyone who you think that this would be helpful to. Okay, bye fam. Thank you so much for listening to Wanderlust Wealth Show. Now, don't forget to follow the podcast, or if you're watching on YouTube, make sure to hit that subscribe button. If you love this episode, it would literally mean the world to me if you shared this with a friend or a family member, or literally like anyone off of the street. Like right now, go ahead, share it so you don't forget, or post it on social media and make sure to tag me. I love seeing what you're listening in on and what you resonated with, and I'm just so freaking thankful for you. I'm so freaking excited for you. I love you, and don't forget, life really doesn't have to be hard.